you may notice that my camera is a bit different today. That is a result of, as I'm sure the great detectives amongst the audience, including my future self, may have deduced with marvellous accuracy, is because I'm building a new PC, and part of this includes buying a standalone webcam, which I'm now using and has much greater quality and no longer will fizzle in the background when there's low light and such, and require copious amounts of colour correction. Yeah, so when we left off, we were just finishing the case. The rather suspicious Mr. McGilded went off to look at the evidence, and I kind of hope we join him, but it seems first we must talk to Iris Wilson. But let me figure out what Iris Wilson. I'm not good at this. I'm really going to struggle with that one.
Objection!
God, don't even.
It's a great pleasure to meet you both. My name is Iris Wilson.
I'm not even gonna try. I'm not even gonna try. I'm just gonna do the only high-pitched voice. I can't do Pearl voice. Like, Pearl voice I do super absurd, and I just can't do that for this. My name is Iris Wilson. That's not good. It's not good at all. It's not good. Boom, 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 boom. Naughty, naughty, running off like that. There you go. That's my best attempt. I apologise. Is this some kind of picnic? Who's this little girl now? And taking that with you as well. I was looking forward to the trial run of my experimental smoke grenade launcher. She was like, dude, what the hell? Dude, don't make me do two high-pitched voices in one scene. Are you joking me, game? Let's read the text history. Don't move! Don't move! Don't move! Ah! There you go. Oh, do you want to play? You won't beat me! Excuse me, but who are you? Oh, good day to you. I'm, well, the inventor, I suppose, of that machine. The inventor? Well, normal smoke grenades are so dull, don't you agree? White, white, and more white. If you have to be shrouded in smoke, it could at least be a pretty colour, I thought to myself. Do we have to be shrouded in smoke, though? At all? I just took my eyes off it for a moment whilst I was changing onto a different omnibus, and she pinched it. Luckily, I fitted it with a telegraphic beacon. What's it? What? I have no idea what this girl is talking about. Anyway, you're coming with me now, back to my laboratory. What for? To apologise, of course, silly, to my technician. What, you mean say sorry? You must say sorry when you've done something wrong. Oh, these two are going to be in scenes together a lot, aren't they? Oh, they are. I've got to try harder if I'm going to improve at this just dire, high-pitched voice to hell. Ugh. I feel like Iris Wilson deserves something a bit different, a bit unique from me, that actually requires effort. Must you say sorry when you've done something? No. No lisp. Maybe I'm trying too hard at the English part of it. Maybe I should just give it... No. You must say sorry when you've done something wrong. Surely an adult has told you that before. Fine, I'll do. An adult? I don't listen to no adults. Come along then, follow me. That's gonna have to do, I'm sorry. Fine, have it your way. Have it your way. Oh, good. You see, I knew you'd want to do the right thing in the end. Oh my god, this kills my voice. Oh. Try that again. Oh, good. You see, I knew you'd want to do the right thing in the end. That's so bad. So bad. So bad. Oh, good. You see, I knew you'd want to do the right thing in the end. Iris Wilson. That'll do. Fuck it. I'm fairly sure that what she wants is not to get shot by that massive gun of yours. That's a good pose, I'm gonna be honest. That's a classy pose. Well, we'll be leaving now then. Bye-bye. I'm so sorry for all the fuss. She was a lively one. Well, do you think perhaps we ought to be on our way now too? Yes, you're right, but where to? Oh, we aren't going to go look at the evidence. Oh! We haven't had time to find a place to stay. No sooner had we arrived in London than we had to rush here. All our travelling cases are still with the bailiff. I was originally planning to spend today in search of lodgings. But at this late hour of the day, I'm afraid we may be out of luck. Don't worry though, I have a plan. If the worst comes to worst, I've heard of a lovely park where we could spend the night. Please tell me you're not thinking of the McGilded Park. Oh, what's this music? Alright, it's their Sodi thing. Rest in peace. I know it may be a little chilly at this time of year, but our youthfulness will see us through. I'm not so sure about that. I think a midwinter London night will freeze a young person solid just as easily as an elderly one. Oh dear, that doesn't sound agreeable. Now I'm starting to regret turning Mr. McGilded down. That 1,000 guineas would have paid for a lovely warm room, or mansion. And so, why do I keep accidentally giving him a list when I don't try? The trial to determine my worthiness for the study tour was over by the end of our first day in London. However, as we were soon to learn, there were more trying times ahead. Just as the Reaper of the Bailey had warned, the case was far from over.
What's going on? Get the fire brigade! Water! Bring water, quick! What the... How did this happen?
I don't know, sir. By the time I got here, it was already engulfed.
No one was supposed to be allowed in here before we started investigating. No. Oh, good God. There's someone in there. Oh. This can't be.
Well, shit. Oh my god. Now, I did watch back part of the previous case, and something that caught my eye was that it still can't be proved that Mr. McGilded is guilty, even if we accept that he did completely make up that story. Because one of the main problems with the prosecution's case was that the whole issue of the bloody hands. Mr. McGilded did not have bloody hands, right? So either the story that they made up was partly true, and it was in fact Gina Lestrade's hands that got bloody, which to me seems a little bit odd that, like, that could just happen and she could get away with it without anybody noticing, in terms of having bloody hands, I mean. But I just can't concoct a way in which he's innocent, right? The other problem was that the noises, the number of noises just didn't work. And that was, it's just all a bit weird, really. Like, it was unresolved. It was fully, properly unresolved. And I think that might be a first for Ace Attorney. The chapter with no truth at the end of it, so to speak. But yeah, that's the end of Chapter 3, The Adventure of the Runaway Room. It was a pretty good one, I'll be honest. It doesn't suffer from Case 3, the Case 3 curse, but maybe this game will suffer from the penultimate case curse, we shall see. Although really, it's not... It's hard to call it a penultimate case. It's like every case seems like it'll be very integral, especially considering what we just saw. Yeah. I can't do it. Oh, yeah, I get to listen to the late Dr. The Big Daddy Dr. Wilson speak. So I'm going to be silent for this again. The Adventure of the Clouded Kokoro. It looks like flame. We've got his office again. Big man, the Justice Minister. The Minister of the Department of Justice of Her Majesty Queen Victoria's government. And this bricked up attic looking thing. Oh, okay. Silence.
I begin to think, Wilson, said Sholmes, turning his head languidly in my direction, that there is more to this case than that which we have observed. Indeed, that there may be another part to this story that we are yet to discover. His eyes wandered, following the steam rising from his cup of herbal tea, leading him to the distant memory of that snowy evening. To the young lady collapsed on the pavement along Briar Road, and to the knife in her back. Lit in the soft glow of gas lamps, a most extraordinary scene had been set. And under the cover of a light fog, the curtain had risen silently on the insoluble mystery of our invisible killer.
Something that stuck out there is that this case is going to involve another flashback bit with a past case. Very interesting. Shall see. Oh, I've got to remember the Lord Chief Justice's voice. Let's see. Did you sleep last night, Mr. Naruhodo? No, not at all. It was an enormous hotel, wasn't it? The rooms were so luxurious, I felt like we were staying in a palace. And with all the gaslights twinkling, it was brighter than day even in the middle of the night. What about the enormous beds? After my time on the SS Burya, I wasn't going to waste a single inch of that space. I spent the entire night rolling from one side of the mattress to the other. Oh yes, it really was a sort of night you can only dream of normally. Except, when I learned that we owed £3 for the rooms, that dream quickly turned into a nightmare. Oops, sorry about that. The building was so impressive, and the entrance so inviting, I just wandered in without thinking. In a lodging house in Japan, that sum of money would put a roof over your head for a whole year. I did try, but I'm afraid I couldn't help my tears when we were presented with a bill. Ugh, I really am sorry.
Well, never mind. We must find some more affordable lodging straight away, though. If we're not careful, our entire stipend will be used up in 10 days or less.
They got a stipend of around £30. Ugh, London is a scary place. Ah! I wanted to... he had the gruff voice, but he had like a certain alteration of the gruff voice. Ah, good morning... No. Good morning to have you at this early hour.
Oh, yes, well... Good morning to you, Lord Chief... Good morning to you, Lord Chief Justice. We have come to report on the outcome of the trial at the Old Bailey yesterday.
Susato-san is amazing. She doesn't bat an eyelid, even when in the presence of the imposing Lord Strongheart. Yes, I believe you had a very comprehensive initiation into British courtroom practices. Oh, yes, it was very eye-opening, thank you.
And, in accordance with your instructions, Lord Strongheart, Mr. Naruhodo performed his duty to the end.
Yes, I've already been apprised of events. You conducted a remarkable defense. You may consider the test passed. Oh, no longer are you a student from the Empire of Japan. You may henceforth claim to be a fully fledged lawyer. My country is delighted to welcome young talent from such a remote eastern island. Or land. Land. Oh, land. Thank you very much. So, I'm a lawyer now. Now, in view of your new appointment, I have a fresh case in mind for you. I'd like you to take it on at once. I trust that won't be a problem.
Another case? Already?
Nothing trains a lawyer better than practical experience. I'm sure. I don't sense dissatisfaction, do I?
It's just that yesterday's trial ended unusually. I haven't quite come to terms with it.
What's to come to terms with? The man was clear. What more were you hoping for? Culpability in the defendant has not, at the present time, been established by the court. So basically, Van Zyk's fucked up big time in bringing the case to court at this time. So, damn you, Van Zyk's, for being not good. This is so... the relationship with Van Zyk's is so strange. Like, he isn't the asshole prosecutor, and he isn't the nice prosecutor. He's... You're actually oh, that's so weird that in the first case you're rooting for the prosecutor. Consequently, the jury will not be required to proffer judgment.
Well, Lord Van Zykes, it's been a pleasure, so it has. And as for you, me dear fella, I couldn't have asked for a better defence.
His arms. I just can't help wondering if Mr. McGildes really was innocent.
Mr. Naruhodo! It's just that I never managed to ascertain the truth. And then the trial ended.
Well, you needn't let it trouble you for a second longer.
Sorry? What do you mean, Lord Strongheart?
Magnus McGilded passed away immediately following the trial. Oh, so it was him in that. Oh. Okay, this game really is doing an interesting, like, this game is really pulling out every stop it can to add so many layers of cases on top of each other.
No! What? Mr. McGilded is dead?
I have 19 minutes and 41 seconds until my next engagement. Time enough to talk. Time enough to talk.
Take that! Lord Strongheart, may I show you this?
To accept this item, issue a...
Yeah, we've already read this. You've got 24 seconds to rep skins. New text? Question mark?
Just look at all the naughty books packed together on those shelves. They go from floor to ceiling. And they're all books that you couldn't hope to come by in Japan. It's like a dream.
Yes, a very bad dream.
They're not all about British law either. There are books about the judicial systems of other Western nations. France, Germany, Spain, Holland.
What about Russia?
Why do you ask?
I was wondering about asking the Lord Chief Justice how to say wardrobe in Russian. What do you think?
I think perhaps it's a thought best abandoned.
This is all the same. Sad face. Maybe this will be different. This is the last one I'm bothering to try. Marble.
Time to have a conversation. So, how did you find your first taste of our country's Supreme Court?
Oh, well, I don't know. I mean, it was... wow. Mr. Naruhodo means that the whole experience was steeped in the solemnity of Great Britain's long history. It's really a world apart from our own judicial system in Japan, which is only a few short decades old.
Wow, Susato-san has such a way with words.
And you seem to have a way of failing to find the right ones.
The judicial system here is the most advanced in the world. Learn all you can.
The most advanced in the world, is it?
It was fortunate that your very first trial was a simple affair.
Simple? That was simple?
As I believe I mentioned yesterday morning, it was a trial you couldn't lose.
I don't mean to be contrary, Lord Strongheart, but that case was anything but simple.
The circumstances of the case were so incriminating, I was stunned when I first heard them. In fact, I'm still finding it hard to believe that we managed to get a favourable verdict. Is something funny?
No, my apologies. The reason it should have been easy is because the guy's rich, so he'd kind of just do it for you. However, the fact is that you did receive the not guilty verdict you set out to achieve. And that can only be attributed to exceptional talent. Wouldn't you agree?
Well, I don't know about that.
Well, never mind. You exceeded my expectations, I freely admit. That much at least is an undeniable truth. Which is precisely why I have prepared the new case for you that I mentioned before.
What's going on? What was he going to say before? I don't understand. What happened? How can he be dead?
After the trial concluded yesterday, there was a great commotion in the Old Bailey. As you'll presumably recall, an omnibus had been wheeled into the courtroom. God damn it, that fucking prosecutor. That was stupid. Why would he even do that?
Yes, of course. That was the scene of the crime which Mr. McGilded had been accused of. Scene of the crime which Mr. McGilded had been accused of. There we go.
Precisely. Well, while the bailiff's attention was diverted by some other matter, the omnibus went up in flames.
No! How could such a thing happen?
That is being investigated as we speak, but already the police have identified a corpse found inside the charred shell of the carriage as that of Mr. McGilded.
That's awful.
The man must have slipped inside while the bailiff's attention was elsewhere.
But the bailiff really needs to pay more attention. And how could that have happened?
That is also being investigated as we speak.
Thinking back now, immediately after the trial, Mr. McGilded did mention going back into the courtroom to look at the omnibus. Because he was going to tamper with the evidence himself. Because he's totally fucking weird.
Well, I must be making tracks now. It's time for the inspection.
Sorry, what inspection?
They're going to examine the omnibus again, so I'm told. I asked if I could be present for it myself. An inspection of the omnibus? Not to my knowledge. I don't believe Scotland Yard had any intention of re-examining the carriage.
But then who was Mr. McGilded talking about?
Never mind that now. The Yard is making a thorough investigation.
Yeah, there's definitely some corruption here.
The matter is no longer any concern of yours. Leave it to the police.
Poor Mr. McGilded.
He had served his purpose.
Could you perhaps give us some more details about the new case you mentioned? Don't tell me it's a murder and the trial starts in 10 minutes.
Don't worry, it's nothing so alarming or quite so urgent as your last assignment. In fact, this case is completely different.
Oh, I see. Did he just read my mind?
That is to say, no one has died. As yet. And the trial will not be today. There is plenty of time to research the case thoroughly. 23 hours, 43 minutes, and 19 seconds to be precise.
So the trial's tomorrow then. Is everything alright? Oh yes, I'm just a little confused, that's all. Yes, that this trial was... well, it left me wondering if I'm really cut out for being a lawyer. Oh, Mr. Naruhodo, Naruhodo, I don't know if I could stand facing and stand facing. I don't know if I could stand. I don't know if I could face standing in that courtroom again after Mr. McGilded's trial.
Ah, yes, I nearly forgot. There is one similarity with yesterday's case.
Come on, it's him being burnt, right?
Once again, there is currently no one to advocate for the defense. Oh, if the situation remains unchanged, the trial will start tomorrow with the defendant unrepresented. And if that happens, I need not remind you of the inevitable outcome.
The most terrible end awaits the defendant.
Yes, that's right.
Ugh, we go again.
Your time is up. You will have to excuse me. I would advise you to begin making preparations for tomorrow's trial. After all, the clock is ever ticking. There is now but 23 hours, 26 minutes, and 39 seconds until the court sits.
Last time he mentioned 23 hours, he said there was plenty of time.
And one more thing, Mr. Naruhodo. There is something I would like to ask you.
Oh, what's that?
Yesterday, you remarked upon something. That you intend to see through the will of your late compatriot, Mr. Asogi. I would be interested to hear exactly what you mean by that. Inside 34 seconds.
Oh, well, Kazumi always used to say, you see,
Ticking.
that he wanted to learn how the greatest justice system in the world worked, so he could change ours in Japan. Now that he's gone, I'd like to work towards that myself. And there's another thing. Oh!
Another thing? Continue.
Should we really tell him this?
On the way here, on the steamship, he said something to me.
There's something very important I have to do. Something very important? And what exactly would that be?
He never had a chance to tell me. I suppose he would have done, if he had ever made it to Great Britain.
You're out of time. Well, thank you for an enlightening discussion.
Yeah, he wanted to know what's Sasogi's secret mission. It seemed like it was something that the government of Japan wanted.
Mr. Naruhodo, what's all this about? Mr. Asogi never once mentioned anything of the sort to me.
I urge you both to focus your attentions on the matter at hand.
Ooh, ho, ho. Tobias Gregson.
I have taken the liberty of summoning the police inspector in charge of the case. He'll be able to apprise you of the details.
How long has he been there?
So, I wish you the best of luck, and bid you farewell.
I'm interested to see. So, in actual Holmes novels, the police were incompetent. Like, because obviously Scotland Yard was very new at that time. It was like, the Metropolitan Police was something which came about in Victorian times as a separate entity to the army, in fact. Like, to keep order in the streets, like. So I'm interested to see Shutakumi's take on Scotland Yard.
There's something very important that I have to do. Kazuma-sama, what did you mean? I wish I knew, but honestly, he never told me. Anyway, we had better talk to the detective, don't you think? Yes, you're right.
Maybe I should give him Gumshoe voice just for old time's sake.
I hope I'm just imagining it, but I wouldn't say he looks pleased to see us at all.
Oh my god. Oh. He just manifests a new... What even is it? It's fish and chips, right? Oh, fish and chips! Oh, this guy, I like this guy already. He's got a bit of... He's got that look about him that just... He seems like a interesting character.
Could we trouble you?
He's got no chin, or no neck. He's got no neck. His neck is a chin. So... Got big buffy eyebrows.
I kind of want to give him the fish and chips voice. Just because nobody else has had the fish and chips voice. I'm going to give him the fish and chips voice. What do you think?
Lovely weather, isn't it?
What's the weather got to do with anything? What's the weather got to do with anything?
There we go.
Listen to me, you young Japanese upstart. Some frippery about the weather doesn't get every English gent eating out of your hand, you know. Eating out your hand, you know.
Just skips the G's.
Some frippery about the weather doesn't get every English gent eating out your hand, you know. Eating out your hand, you know.
Ugh, but Susato-san told me it was foolproof.
I'm a busy man. A very busy man. There's a crime scene to investigate, but I'm here having to give talks to the likes of... There's a crime scene to investigate, but I'm here having to give the likes of you a talking to.
Oh, I'm ever so sorry.
Can you imagine what the other officers there will be saying? Haven't seen Gregson anywhere with you. No, he's too busy with the bigwigs these days. All because of some bumpkin on here who's on a jaunt from a country I've never even heard of.
This character. What the hell are his poses? I love it.
All because of some bumpkin who's on a jaunt from a country I've never even heard of. Hear that ripping sound? That's my reputation at the yard going to tatters.
There's no need to rip us apart as well. I don't believe we've been introduced. This is Mr. Ryunosuke Naruhodo, a defense lawyer.
Hey.
It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance. I'm Mr. Naruhodo's judicial assistant, Su.
Hey.
It's lovely weather we're having today, isn't it?
I'm just a bit of a weirdo, you know. No big deal. It's unseasonably fine, I grant you. London winters don't see a lot of sunshine.
Unbelievable. How did she pull that off?
So, Lord Strongheart has asked me to fill you in on the case. The name's Tobias Gregson, Inspector Gregson to you. I'm from Scotland Yard.
Gregson? Inspector Gregson? What's the matter with Susato-san? Does this detective's name mean something to her? Inspector, are you perhaps the Inspector Gregson? You're acting like you know this man, Miss Susato, but he's a London detective. Oh, I do know him very well, in fact. Very well? Yes, he features prominently in the Adventures of Sherlock Holmes. Oh, in that publication. What's it called again? Rant magazine? That's right! Inspector Gregson and Mr. Sholmes enjoy a wonderful, friendly rivalry. Really? You rival the great Mr. Sholmes? That's incredible!
Oh, well, I don't know about that. Mr. Sholmes isn't a professional like myself, of course, but he does come up with the goods from time to time.
Mr. Sholmes is equally complimentary about you, Inspector, isn't he? You've earned his highest praise. Gregson is the pick of the bad lot at all the... Gregson is the pick of a bad lot of all the Scotland Yarders. Those were his own words.
That's his highest praise.
Well, Mr. Sholmes isn't particularly known for giving compliments, you see.
That he is not, and thanks to that magazine, name's known all over London town now.
That's great, isn't it?
I have to admit that to start with, I was a little, well, flattered by all the attention. Everyone wanted to shake my hand. My reputation at the yard went through the roof.
Well, that's wonderful.
No, it's not. There's nothing more sinister than the man on the street. People are always looking at me now. They're whispering rumours about me under their breath, I'm sure.
Rumours?
Are you quite sure?
He's changed since he started appearing in those stories. The fame's gone to his head. Stuff like that.
Gosh, you really think people are saying such things, such mean-spirited things about you?
Like I said, they whisper, so I can't catch exactly what they're saying, but I know what folk are like. I'm sure that's what they're saying. It's as sure as eggs is eggs.
I get the feeling this detective could be very hard work.
Oh dear, perhaps a sudden rise of fame does change people.
He's got a nice theme too. So, about the case that the Lord Chief Justice mentioned before.
Nothing to tell, really. As far as we're concerned with the yard, it couldn't be simpler.
Oh dear, oh dear, that probably means that as far as we're concerned as lawyers, it couldn't be more complicated.
I wish you were wrong about that, but I have a nasty feeling you're right.
A young woman was walking along the pavement on Briar Road when she was stabbed from behind. Fortunately, it wasn't fatal, but she's still laid up in hospital, unconscious.
That's despicable! What sort of coward would attack the poor woman from behind?
Okay, so it's not the burning thing case, but who knows, maybe that will be roped into it somehow. I suppose you would have finished whoever it was off with a Susato takedown, would you?
That is neither here nor there, Mr. Naruhodo.
Brace yourself, Yunosuke. You've angered her now.
Anyway, after something of a whirlwind investigation, the criminal was arrested. He barely had time for a cup of tea after the incident took place, to be honest.
So there must have been something left at the scene that led you directly to the culprit.
Or perhaps a reliable witness who recognized the person. In question.
Let me stop you right there. You're wasting your time on this one.
Sorry?
There's nothing you can do. There's no way to help the bloke now.
Why ever not? Why ever not?
Simple. The prosecutor that's been assigned to the trial tomorrow is Lord Baroque von Zykes.
No!
Sounds like you heard of him then.
Oh yes, we are very familiar with Lord Van Zykes. Believed to be the harbinger of death itself.
The Reaper of the Bailey. I don't know about this Reaper of the Bailey business. He seems pretty genuine at least. He's not an asshole who only cares about his win record. Lord Baroque Van Zykes, who he faced in court only yesterday.
Mr. McGill told us about him before the trial, didn't he?
Really? You're making me do McGilded voice again? Is he just gonna haunt me the whole game? I have to do fucking Irish accent every 10 minutes.
Oh, Furniture, after murdering you, when Van Zykes stands for the prosecution, they call the accused his sacrificial lambs. And in every single trial in which he's been the prosecutor, the accused has been damned.
Well, you were damned in a different way. This Reaper of the Bailey nickname, I suppose he's earned that because every defendant he advocates against is found guilty. Is that it?
Well, if that's the case, we should inform you, Inspector, that in yesterday's trial against Lord Van Zykes, Mr. Naruhodo secured a verdict of not guilty.
Ha! And what of it?
Oh? Well, I think, that means even against the Reaper of the Bailey, it's not impossible to save the defendant.
No, you really don't have a clue, do you?
What do you mean?
What happened to that bloke in the end, eh? He's dead. Ah! Agnes McGilded came a cropper in that omnibus when it went up in flames. So you can't rightly say you saved the defendant, can you?
What are you saying?
Look, if Van Zykes could get the dirt to stick on everyone, he'd be a miracle worker.
Okay, so he doesn't get everyone declared guilty. It's just that everyone he prosecutes gets fucked over.
But that's not how it goes. He doesn't work miracles, he works magic. Black magic. I'd have a good long think about that, if I were you.
Maybe he's not. Yeah. Are we really supposed to believe that?
Tobias Gregson. Meh. Meh.
Instead of a humph, he's more of a meh sort of guy.
Well, I filled you in as requested, and I'm very nearly out of chips. So I'll be heading back to the crime scene now. We're still carrying out a few investigations there.
It was Briar Road, you said, didn't you? Where the incident took place.
That's correct, ma'am. And if you head over to the holding cells, you can meet the criminal himself.
You've branded him a criminal already.
He's as good as. Shaking like a leaf in his cell, he is. It'll give you a chuckle if nothing else. He's inmate 53. Speak to the jailer and then he'll show you the way.
Inmate 53, thank you. So there's no helping anyone against the Reaper of the Bailey, they say.
Is something troubling you, Mr. Naruhodo? To tell the truth, when I recall the trial yesterday, I can't stop myself from shaking. The idea of facing the Reaper in the court again is... Well, if you think it's too much for you, there's no shame in turning the gates down. That takes courage too.
But if the man they've arrested is innocent, you could well imagine he'd be shaking like a leaf in his cell. And I, for one, wouldn't find the sight of that funny.
So, If I'm honest, I'm still reeling from the shock of yesterday's events myself. And I'm really not sure if I'll be able to help this man, whoever he is. But I'd like to try. So I think I'm going to make some inquiries. Will you help? Did you really think you had to ask? After all, I am your judicial assistant.
The soundtrack's alright, yeah? It's a really good soundtrack. There's a few things that I don't like, though. This investigation theme is a bit repetitive, because they don't have a core one, unless they just haven't played it yet. The telling the truth theme is okay, but, like, it's a bit lackluster. It doesn't have that same impact as some of the previous ones, like TNT. And the Moderato Testimony theme, it's just so boring, I've got to be honest. The Allegro one is really nice, especially with that extra, like, B section, or whatever you want to call it, in the middle. But that Moderato one just, oh, it puts me to sleep. Thank you. So then, shall we?
Yes!
That was a bit loud.
Let's go! I always feel on edge here, but there are so many interesting books I wish I could borrow.
Well, it's not like the Lord Chief Justice reads any of them, he's too busy. I mean, this investigation theme isn't bad, it just plays a lot. Maybe that's just because of Chapter 2 being, like, all investigation, though, that I've heard it enough. Okay, that. Pitch perfect, pitch perfect. Look at this cute little English street.
So this is where it happened. Briar Road. Ah! Look, Mr. Naruhodo! Look at that regulation metal helmet! It's unmistakable. Men of Scotland Yard are here. They're investigating as we speak.
Is their job, you know?
But Mr. Naruhodo, to see one with my own eyes. They're so often depicted in the adventures of Sherlock Sholmes, but I never dreamt I'd ever come this close. To a real Bobby's helmet!
What? The helmet?
Hehe, of course! I have to try one on one day.
Well, I hope your hatty dream comes true.
I don't see Inspector Gregson anywhere. Shall we see if we can sneak past and investigate the scene of the stabbing? Why should we sneak?
I don't want to upset one of those bobbies and be battered on the head by one of those metal helmets. My skull would crack in two, I'm sure.
Oh no! An English bobby would never do such a thing. This is a land of gentlemen, you know?
Ah, this is a lovely bit of scenery, isn't it? This tower looks a bit precarious. There is something unreplaceable about these old little shops, the bakers and the barbers and the this and the that. No Tesco's, no Asda, no... This bike doesn't look too happy. No penny farthing, it's just a bike. Okay, I guess we're past that point. let's do the trivial examining. Oh wow, it's got smashed windows.
That's a rather typical old brick building, isn't it? I'm sure it has a long and interesting history.
Well, time certainly seems to have taken its toll on the place. It's crooked and sagging all over. In fact, it looks decidedly worse shape than the other houses around here.
We must find some cheap lodgings ourselves, as soon as possible.
Yes, you're right, cheap, but ideally with reasonable level floors.
Oh, a British bicycle, look! Although the wheel is so misshapen, I'm sure it couldn't possibly be ridden anymore.
Someone must have been doing some breakneck cycling.
It seems bicycles have become extremely popular in London recently. There's even a movement to change women's dress to allow them to ride as well.
Bicycle fad won't last. I don't see why anyone would want to ride something like that.
Goodness, do you dislike bicycles?
No, not at all. I mean, it's not that I dislike them exactly. It's just that any occupation that involves taking both your feet off firm ground seems reckless. If you'd ever tried walking on stilts and fallen into a river, I know you'd agree with me. What, is that something you do in your spare time at university?
We'll have to hire a bicycle sometime. You can sit behind me while I ride you around.
That's a bit odd, but sure. Usually you'd expect the Usually you would expect Runosuke to ride, okay. Oh, look at the windows of that building there.
Are you sure they're windows?
Yes, but they're all filled in with bricks.
Oh, you're right. I wonder why.
Maybe that's the building from the start, the intro thing.
Perhaps it's an empty property where nobody lives at the moment.
There's smoke coming from the chimneys, though.
Oh dear, everything still feels very foreign. There's so much we have to learn about this place.
The clouds look so big and heavy in the sky, don't they? And with the dense fog as well, everything looks hazy.
Well, it is known as Foggy London Town.
I can just make out some sort of spire through the fog. Looks like it's still being built, though.
Aha! Yes, that must be the Crystal Tower, being built for the great exhibition that's to open in 6 months' time. Apparently it's going to be very striking, glazed on all sides, and the symbolic centerpiece of the exhibition.
It's to be the largest exhibition in history, isn't it? Can't even begin to imagine it. So there were two different sorts of pun... Sorry, let me read my... first of all, let's save. Road. There are piles of snow on the pavement here and there. The road itself is covered in carriage tracks.
It seems carriages often travel down Briar Road. It soon disperses all the snow.
I slipped over when I was walking down the pavement earlier. It seems like it would be far safer to walk on the road instead.
Oh, but you're rather small, Mr. Naruhodo, and dressed all in black. I worry coachmen might not see you, and you could be flattened by horses.
Well, thank you for the rather small concern. The Metropolitan something. Daily News. It's a great news name. I'm not going to examine anything related to the case just yet. Oh, something here. No, that's that. Yeah, so there's... one sec, let me just check the achievements list. I know there's still stepladder and ladder jokes. Then there's another sort, isn't there? There's a new one. Achievement. Shovels and spades. Ladders and step ladders. So shovels and spades. I don't see any here. Okay, let's move.
Are you sure we've asked everything we need to, Mr. Naruhodo? Still haven't been here yet.
So these are British prison cells.
Oh, they're ghastly. It feels just like a dungeon.
Yes, and having experienced it in Japan myself, I assure you that our wooden cells feel a lot cozier than these cold stone walls.
Oh, don't, Mr. Naruhodo. You're making it seem even worse.
Apparently, our client is in this cell here. It's so dark at the back there, I can't make him out. I wonder what he's like. Inmate 53, your legal representative is here to see ya. Stop idling at the back of your cell and show your face at once.
Am I a cat? As yet with no name? Calling me by a number? It's utterly, unbelievably, unjustly unreasonable. I refuse to answer. Mr. Naruhodo, what do you think is going on in here?
I've no idea, but I wasn't just hearing things, was I? That tirade of complaints was in Japanese. Oh. 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 Excuse me, but who...
Shh, quiet.
No, I'm not going to give him that voice, actually. The hell? What the hell? They're all around hiding, I know they are. So he's a bit mad. Right, so could I ask you who exactly... So he knows Japanese, so... I don't want to give him a British voice. What the fuck? There you are! You've come to curse me, haven't you? Don't try and hide it! You're a ghost! Well, that's not what I don't know. A ghost?
We mean you no harm, prisoner-san. Are you Japanese, by any chance?
This is... Okay. Okay. I need something that can go a bit everywhere. I need a voice that can go everywhere. Oh, forgive me for that outburst. No. The moustache is putting me off. Oh, forgive me for that outburst before. I'm so sorry. Maybe I should just give him a fairly normal voice.
Oh, it's fine. We were just a little surprised, that's all.
Imagine it! Oh, it's been 12 long months since I left my hometown, and here I am, in a frightful fix in a foreign land. So hearing the sweet, sentimental tones of a compatriot's voice here in this damp, dark hellhole was a most monumentally moving moment.
You could have guessed that this new client Lord Strongheart assigned to us would turn out to be a fellow Japanese.
Ah, what a compassion my fellow countrymen show. Just dispatch a first-class lawyer all the way from Japan to defend a mere foreign student. Noble, nurturing, never failing, Nippon.
A first-class lawyer? Oh dear, I think there's been something of a misunderstanding here.
I wonder, would you be so kind as to tell us what happened? Why you've been detained as a suspect, for example?
Yes, I can. I will. Shan't stay silent.
I'm not quite sure I understand what he means, but he seems happy.
Yes, he does. I just hope he actually has a good reason to be. Thank you for your cooperation. I am a lawyer, as you said. My name is Ryunosuke Naruhodo.
And I am Naruhodo-san's judicial assistant, Susato Mikotaba.
I am a visiting student sent here by our government. Notorious, named Natsume. Soseki Natsume.
Bloody hell.
Yes, the symbol of one of our great empire's first-rate lawyers. Which means, of course, you'll stand by my side, you'll defend me.
Oh, no, sorry. That wasn't why I was showing it to you.
Then why else would you show me that?
Oops. Hindsight, that probably wasn't the best idea. Soseki Natsume-san. It's an unusual name.
Call me Soseki, please. I'm a poet, you see. A writer of haiku. It's something of a nom de plume.
Oh, like a writer, a pen name. There you go.
Nom de plume? You mean an alias?
That's right, Naruhodo-san.
No. Don't be so prosaic. It's much more refined than that.
And haiku, that really reminds me of home.
Did I hear you say that you are a visiting student sent over here by the government?
Yes, that's right. A year ago, I was told to go and study in English. First I had to go suffer that misery, and now this is beyond the pale.
Suffer that misery? Did you not want to study here?
No, I mean, I've had an interest in Great Britain for some years, of course.
Oh.
But just because the government tells you to do something doesn't mean you can do it. No.
What do you mean?
They told me to study English literature. That I could have understood. That's my field. But no, they told me to study the English language. Utterly, unbelievably, unjustly, unreasonable.
Okay. I see.
Only the other day, I was told to send a report about my first year here. I tendered a blank piece of paper. Wise words are white, washy.
You must be a man of great standing.
Oh yes, so I'm often told.
I'd often like to be told, it seems.
Guy, man, what the hell?
Could you perhaps tell us exactly why you've been arrested, Soseki-san?
I didn't do it. I didn't commit that atrocious murder.
Murder?
Oh, no. It's all right. The woman didn't actually die, did she? But she was stabbed with a knife right before my eyes.
Before your eyes?
Oh, before your eyes? You mean you saw the attacker?
I didn't see anyone.
What?
If I'd seen the person who did it, you think I'd be locked up in here?
Oh dear, it seems this case is becoming rather complicated.
Why me? Why me? Why did that silly woman have to be stabbed in front of me? It's the curse of London. It's incredibly, inexcusably, and irritatingly inconvenient.
So Soseki-san was there at the scene, but he didn't see the attacker.
It's vital that we find out more about the case.
This is ridiculous. This is very, very typical. Oh, God's truth.
It was an accursed evening, just after the snow had started to clear, and heavy with fog. I'd been to the bookshop to buy some books, and I was on my way back to my accursed lodgings.
Sure, the bookshop wasn't accursed too.
As I was walking along that accursed pavement, I could make out the sole silhouette of another ahead of me. A woman, wearing a green overcoat she was, and just as I went to overtake her, she suddenly let out a little scream and collapsed onto the floor. I had slabs of stone at my feet. I'll tell you, but I called out to the woman, but she didn't move. It was like a ghostly, ghoulish, grim graveyard.
Slight exaggeration there, perhaps.
I was terrified. I had to get away from there. So I ran as fast as my legs would carry me back to my accursed lodgings.
That's not good.
They'll say it was shameful, I know, to run away like that. Tell me, Soseki-san, was the victim an acquaintance of yours? Don't be ridiculous. Do you think I know any of these fair-haired English, and a young woman at that? I'm different, shy, timid, unsure. I can't talk to people.
I see. A young woman. Unknown to Soseki-san. And at the time it happened, who else did you see nearby? Did anyone pass you?
Regrettably, apart from myself and the woman, I didn't see a soul.
No one? Oh, great.
So the victim was unknown to you, and there was nobody else on the street at the time. That creates something of a conundrum, doesn't it?
What conundrum? What do you mean, Susato-san? What's the conundrum?
Well, if what Soseki-san just told us is true, there's something I can't explain. He says that he didn't know the victim, and that there was no one else at the scene. Then he apparently fled without being seen. I did!
If that's the case, how was the body discovered? Surely this man has to be the culprit.
Ah! You! What did you say?
Nothing. I didn't say anything. Oops. Perhaps I thought that a little loudly.
Actually, that's not what was troubling me. What I was thinking was, how did Soseki-san actually come to be arrested?
Sorry.
He didn't touch the victim, and there was nobody at the scene to see him. So how did the police even discover that he was there in the first place?
Oh yes, she's right.
It was him. That accursed great detective. He led the police to me. Of all the bad luck.
Cursed great detective? Could it be?
I shall never forget that man's name so long as I live. With his haughty laugh and his self-proclaimed greatness. Bash, big-headed, busybody, begone! So you may be cursed to the end of your days. Aleks Holmes! I knew it! Mr. Sholmes?
Well, I didn't expect to hear that name from this man's lips, that's for sure.
It was the morning after that nightmare had unfolded on the pavement before me. I was gnawing on silver hard cheese when some men suddenly burst through the door.
How old is this guy? He's younger than Van Sykes.
They started shouting at me. This is the police. Put your weapon down. Yes, it was a thin silver and it was hard. But I wasn't eating a weapon. Disgusting. Library. Discrimination devils.
You clearly had a trying morning yesterday.
And there he was, in the middle of all the policemen, grinning like a Cheshire cat. That Aleks Holmes.
It's actually just Aleks Holmes. He's English.
I've since found out that he's a famous name in detection here in London. Yes, the great detective is really very well known. And his overly sharp mind managed to deduce my whereabouts apparently. He thinks I'm the knife-wielding madman. Me, this week's stooped kitten of a man.
I wonder what the great deduction process led him to his conclusion this time.
So you mean to say that Mr. Sholmes' deduction was the only reason the police arrested you? That would be really most unreasonable. Really? Well, the thing is that I was thrown into a panic when they barged their way in. Of course you were. That's only natural. I was terrified and trembling, and they kept throwing question after question at me in impossible English. Fiendish, foreign, film, flammery.
Well, we are in England. You can't really blame them for questioning you in English.
Good point, but my mind went blank. I knew I had to answer, but I didn't know what to say. So I kept repeating things like, yes I do, and I'm fine. And so the next thing I know, I was in manacles. And before I knew it, I was thrown in the air.
Oh God, Struth.
Oh dear, I'm afraid that's hardly surprising.
I'm fine. He's not fine now.
Oh, bad.
Mr. Naruhodo, Esquire.
Oh, you can just call me Naruhodo, and when we're speaking English, well, Mr. is more than enough.
Ah.
Oh yes, all right, yes. They've really got to me. This country poisoning my mind. It's poisoning my mind. But please, I'll beg you to defend me in court tomorrow. You can tell them what really happened. You'll do it, won't you?
Well,
Why? Why is it so hard to say yes to me?
well, the thing is, I'm just a student like yourself, on a study tour.
A student?
I have defended the case in the Old Bailey. Only the one, though. At this moment in time, I really don't know what I'm supposed to believe in. I'm confused about what justice in this country even means.
Oh, Naruhodo-san.
Not even the foreign student who was supposed to be here. I'm sort of locum lawyer, I suppose.
But that armband is the mark of a defense lawyer from our great empire.
It's a keepsake from the man who should have been here. He was my best friend.
A keepsake? I know exactly what they're saying about me. Oh, what do you mean? The lawyers, all the British defence lawyers, they won't defend me. Goodness, why do you say that? For the same reason as you noted before, when it happened. There was only the victim and myself around. I now ran away from the scene of the crime. I'm not a fool. I know it looks as though I must be the culprit. It must be very hard for you, Soseki-san. And anyway, I'm a student from overseas. I'm just a foreign nobody to them. Someone not to be trusted. I heard them openly laughing about me before, in my earshot, without any compunction at all. Any trial for this man would be a waste of time, they said. And of course the foreigner did it. They even had all the gall to say, the man doesn't understand half of what is being said anyway. That's awful. They're wrong. I've studied more English than half the policemen out there on the streets. They've travelled halfway around the world to learn these people's country and its great history. But no one here wants to listen to a man with a strange accent. They all hate me. So, at the very least, I'd like to entrust my fate to someone who can listen to me in my native tongue. You could do it, couldn't you? When I look into your eyes, I can see you. I can see what you've been through. So, Seki-san, it's just that... Give me a little time, please. I'll do what I can, for the time being. What do you mean? Shall investigate the case as thoroughly as possible. If we can find some clues, it will give us a much better chance, I'm sure. Oh yes, thank you. I'll be here, all alone, waiting for you, locum student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire. We should be going then, Naruhodo-san. We have a case to prepare for.
I've already done that too. Maybe he'll say something different now. I think I'm going to end it there. I'm very tired. It's time for me to go to bed. Let's walk to the road, see if Sherlock's there.
Alright. What's the Japanese delegation doing here?
Oh, Inspector Gregson.
This isn't on the tourist trail, as I'm fairly sure you're well aware.
Yes, of course. We're here to investigate.
So you've been to the holding cells then? What do you make of the criminal?
He's not a criminal as you put it, Inspector. He's a suspect.
We'll see about that. You Japanese like to stick together, I suppose. Well, do what you will. It doesn't bother me. The bloke's in court tomorrow, whatever happens. And the verdict's a foregone conclusion.
Ugh, the stone-cold air of rejection. Take heart. London at this time of year is full of stone-cold air. That makes it worse somehow.
Well, there we are. Right, that's where I'm leaving it. You know, I'll present the badge so I don't have to do it at the start of the next one. Oh. Take that.
Inspector Gregson, could I show you this?
Am I supposed to know what that is? I've never seen that insignia before.
It's worn by defense lawyers in the Empire of Japan as a symbol of their profession.
In other words, it's a worthless trinket here in Great Britain.
Oh no, it's very important to me. It shows my spirit.
An English gentleman keeps things like his spirit very much to himself. I'll have you know.
Oh,
Don't give up, Mr. Naruhodo.
it's too late. He's crushed my spirit already.
Alright then. There we go. Stream over. Boom. Easy.